Globalization brings lives together, as people in different countries can exchange goods and information in a feasible way, yet also responsible of the various forms of inequalities that leads to the so-called global divide. So in globalization, there is no such thing as absolute interconnectedness, meaning to say there will always be factors that will separate a place, a world, an individual, or a group to the rest of the world. What is global divide? Global divide is about the different factors that affect the improvements or advancement of different places all around the globe. The term global divide connects disparities in income and living conditions between the advanced and developing states. Global North. First world, richer and more developed region. 95% has enough food and shelter. So when we say global north, these are the rich and industrialized countries. Economy, industries and major businesses. Commerce and finance, textiles, lumber, clothing, machinery, leather and wooden goods, railroad construction. So mao ni siya ang iyang mga ang bumubuo sa ilang economy. The North-South divide is a socio-economic and political categorization of countries. The Cold War era generalization places countries in two distinct groups, the North and the South. The North is comprised of all first world countries and most second world countries, while the South is comprised of third world countries. So pag first world, mayaman pero democratic. Ang second world, mayaman pero communist or socialist. If a countries that are not belong to the first world and second world, then they will be in the third world, which is the south. That's why we are labeled in the third world kay pobre tapos communist. So naado ta sa south. This categorization ignores the geographic position of countries, with some countries in the southern hemisphere such as Australia and New Zealand being labeled as part of the North. So nganong being labeled as part of the North man? Simple, because they are rich, even though naa sila sa southern hemisphere. So gina-ignore nila ang geographic position ng bansa kay if a country is developed economically, they may become part of the North. Global North, so man siya ang mga countries nga nabilong or part sa Global North. United States, Canada, Western Europe, outermost regions of the European Union, developed parts of Asia, Australia, New Zealand, for example, Korea, Japan, and China, nabilong na siya sa kuan sa Global North. Home to all G8, France, Germany, Italy, the United Kingdom, Japan, the United States, Canada, and Russia. So kaning kuan G8 mo ni siya ang kuan the most rich and powerful countries sa buong mundo. Countries can be classified into three different types. First, most developed countries. So kani nga countries mo ni siya to mga mayayaman. Second, least developed countries. So kani pud nga countries kaano siya dili ni siya tong second world. Ano lang siya developing countries, least developed countries. So kani nga countries kay mao ni ang mga African countries nga katong mga pobre na jud. There are three main reasons why our world is so unequal today. First, colonialism. Kay daghang bansa ang naging mahirap dahil in-exploit sila ng mga mayayamang bansa tung time pa ng colonialism. And then trade. Kay tung time po ng trade, kay dili tanang bansa ang kayang makipag-trade. And then, tungod din sa utang, dahag bansa ang naghirap dahil dagko kay sila utang, just like sa atong bansa, di ba, Philippines.
Global South. Global South is the term used to identify lower income countries. These countries are said to be left behind, that even access to basic social services is a matter of privilege. Many places remain stricken by underdevelopment, poverty, and inequality. So as of today, Philippines is still considered a third world country. Actually, there are a lot of countries that under this in Global South, but the best example that everyone can relate is our country, which is Philippines. So Philippines is still considered a third world country. Most people say problems such as corruption, unemployment, crimes, and poverty are the ones that hinder this country to be part of the developed countries. We know naman na grabe gid ang corruption sa government or sa leader nga for the past years sa kinsang mga presidente nagid ang corruption, daghan kay mga walay trabaho, daghan kay mga crimes nga kitabo, ug daghan gid kay mga luoy nga mga tao, right? So mudato unta ni or mapart unta ang Philippines kita sa first world ma-develop unta ni kung naatay tarong nga leader nga govern sa tua. Ang galid bitaw sa tua, like ginauna gid ang tao kaysa iyang self. Char drama. So, do you know that our country's main imports are composed of fuel, electronic products, transport equipment, and industrial machinery? So, mudato gid unta ta kung sakto lang gid ang pagkuan sa tuala. Pagkuan bitaw sa tua, pagdala. As for agricultural products, Philippines is the exporter of coconut, pineapple, and abaca. Karamihan sad sa countries nga na part sa Global South or under sa Global South kay kanang agrarian based siya, dependent economic ay gadepend. So next, three-quarters of the world population represents mainly agrarian economies in Africa, India, China, Latin America, and others that are not as economically sound and politically stable as their global north counterparts and tend to be characterized by turmoil, war, conflict, poverty, anarchy, and tyranny. What is anarchy? So, anarchy is a state of order due to absence or non-recognition of the authority. So, lawlessness. Walay tarong nga palaod para sa mga farmers, mga mga main source gyud sa mga products. Tyranny, cruel and oppressive government rule, mga corrupt nga government. According to Spade 2007, that global south are everywhere, which means the global north and global south may be found in the same location. So dili lang gid nga pag global south adira gid na siya nga part napoy naay part sa global north nga murag nagmix na bitaw siya. Kay for example, sa isa ka continent nga part sa global south naay locality dira nga puro bitaw mga rich people ang nagpuyo, so na mix na gyud. Global south from the third world. Third world countries was coined by Alfred Sauvy in 1952, a French demographer, economic historian, and anthropologist who compared it with the third estate. According to Claude Yu, 2018, most people in the third world are ruled by the European colonies, lived far from military power, global sources of economic and political. Moreover, most were subjugated, most illiterate, and even then they formed a majority of world's population. So mao to no, 5% lang ang naay enough food and shelter sa mga country nga under sa global south. And it is said nga muratag slave sa European colonies, ginakontrol ta nila, like they have the power over us kay dependent man ta sa ilaha. So I'm done. Now let's move on to the next presenter. Thank you.